pioneering a lot of instruments, but is the piano the main thing for you?
Yes, naturally. I started playing the piano when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and since then, maybe it's the most natural thing for me to play the piano whenever the condition I am in, when I feel sad or when I'm very relaxed or when I get really drunk, in any occasions, I play the piano, and for live, I have done many times, like the solo concerts, and that CD playing the piano is probably the closest to what I do for live by myself. I play those pieces of music in that way, in that kind of style. Well, of course, it keeps changing every time, but more or less very close. But yes, piano is my extension of the body.
Do you know why you choose to record this without trees? Just you playing the piano without electronic experimentations, and just a natural way to express yourself, only you and the piano?
Well, I could use some gimmick or anything. It could be arranged in many ways, but probably that's the most pure and the simplest way to do that, maybe. Well, there are still many possibilities, even using just one piano, but that's what I play for live, almost.
And the track listing, it took some extracts from your films, movie soundtrack, music you played into the bossa nova genre, classical things. And how do you choose these tracks? Are they really close to your heart, or things that you like to play? How do you decide to make this particular track listing?
Well, again, when I do a live show, yes, it's like that. I combine both from film music and my solo music. Sometimes I play some people's music, even if I'm in that mood, I would play like a Brahms or Bach or Satie. But yeah, it's all combined. Yeah.
I saw you many years ago in a French reportage called Tokyo Melodies.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 years ago.
Very long time. Yeah.
In this reportage, you talk about your total fascination for Debussy's music. Is it still the case?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your love for Debussy?
Well, Debussy is maybe Debussy and Bach were the biggest influence on me, musical influence. But at first I liked Bach a lot. Then I loved the Beatles. Then jumped to Beethoven. Then from Beethoven to Debussy. Strange, no romantics. Yeah, from classic to
no 19th century.
Yeah, 19th century. I mean, late 19th century. Of course, I loved Ravel, Stravinsky, Messiaen, Boulez, Stockhausen, all that, and John Cage. But maybe Bach and Debussy were the biggest influence, still now.
And does it express something particular for you? Is it something that you connected to your emotions, or is it some mental pictures, or you don't know exactly? Why are you so in love with this music?
Well, maybe the very first encounter with Debussy's music was a very huge impact on me. I was maybe 13 or 14 years old, low teen boy, Japanese boy, living in Tokyo. And so very first time I listened to Debussy's string quartet, I was like, I couldn't believe that. The music was totally different from music I knew. It's very different from Bach or Beatles or Beethoven. The music I knew. So, what is this? What's this? What's this chord harmony? What's this scale? What's going on? So, probably the impact was so big, and it remains inside me.
Is there a link between La Mer from Debussy, the sea, and what you did with Christopher Willits?
Well, there's no direct connection, but obviously La Mer is one of the his most important works by Debussy. So, especially the second movement is really my lifetime, my favorite music. The second movement of La Mer. So, yeah, it's always here, maybe. So, anything I do, even improvising on the laptop, but it's going on. So, yeah, it would affect whatever I do.
How do you meet Carsten Nicolai and all these electronic
Christian
musicians?
finesse. Well, each case is different, but Alva Noto, I met him. I went to see his concert in Tokyo in the late 90s. And there was a Ryuichi Ikeda also next to him. So I knew Ryuichi even before. And so probably Ryuichi introduced me to Carsten. And
thanks to the drum-type palettes?
Yeah. Ryuichi is the music creator for drum-type. Yes. And so I was impressed by Carsten's music and his technique and his mind. And so I asked Carsten to do the remix for the project I was doing at the time, around 2001. I was working on the cover of Antonio Carlos Jobim with the Brazilian musicians. So it's very far, yes, the Jobim and Carsten Nicolai, so far away. But I thought, it would be so interesting. So I asked him to do the remix, and he did. He was so pleased. He was excited, and I was very excited about the result. But those Brazilian musicians didn't get it. They didn't like it. But that triggered me a lot inside me, because I have both Carsten's side and Jobin's side. I have both inside, both my territory, and so this remix Carsten did triggered me something. The idea we could do some collaboration with Carsten, and so that's how I started. And with the Christian finesse, it's different, because I've been doing this project on my website called Chain Music, and so I really wanted to have Christian finesse, but I didn't. At that time, I didn't meet him yet, and so Sylvian introduced me to Christian by email. And Christian, immediately said yes, and he sent me the audio file. And maybe some months later, he had some gig in New York, and so he flew in, and that's how we met. So the project was done. After some months later, we met, and that happens all the time nowadays, because everything is mostly done by email and file exchanges and so on. Then finally we meet.
And you did 3 or 4 recordings with him, and video recordings with Carsten Nicolai. And we feel that the very last one is a real collaboration, and we feel that you're working together. There's something really strong, a strong collaboration. Do you feel that too?
Yes, but also I like the earlier ones also. Very first one, before that, Bruin. Yeah. Because each time is different. Like the work style is different. So I improvised some piano on the piano, and I got some improvisations like files, and sent them to Carsten, and he listened to them very carefully, and he added his own sounds onto my improvisations. That's how we made for the first time. So he didn't touch any of the piano improvisations. So the piano performance is just untouched there, exactly as I played. So my piano improvisation with Carsten's sounds, that's what it is. Simple. I still like it somehow. But the second time he manipulated. He touched some my piano parts also, and that's also interesting. Yes, as you told me, the third time we worked together and thinking together, discussing, and rethinking the idea for many days together, even before we started writing or started making the sounds. And also we had the third part, which is the ensemble modern. We spent a lot of time with them.
Recording the strings.
Not for recording, but I don't know, because both Carsten and I didn't want to use the stereotypical patterns of contemporary music, like blues, stockers, and whatever, ligeti. It's all done. It's all done. So we didn't use those patterns. We wanted to find some new way, new thing, new music, and so before started writing, we were looking for something. We even didn't know what that was, but we were looking for some new way to make music with them, with the ensemble modern. So they didn't know what they have to do, and we didn't know. So we tried many things. Like I drew like some clouds and showed them, and played this, something like that, or imagine that the atmosphere, the huge atmosphere, air, and play it. I tried many different ways. Like it's like almost like a Zen koan, but koan.
So most of the time you say one sentence, nobody can understand it.
Right, koan. Yes.
So you played a lot of koan.
Koan, yes. I showed them give them many koans.
Was it an enjoyable process?
Well, it happens all the time, but some members didn't get it, didn't understand, and some people had some attitudes. right? So, so please leave this room. We don't need you.
Some conflict.
Yeah.
That's excellent. It's really interesting.
Well, they are very, very good players, very good musicians, excellent techniques. So as long as the most difficult music showed, but they can play anything. Blaze, Steve Reich, no problem. But this time there's no music, no instruction, just a very symbolic koan. And I can understand some people don't get it.
So back to playing the piano. Are you surprised by the fact that you can play some movie soundtracks with your piano, and that the response of the audience is really amazing because they have forgotten the movie and they have forgotten the pictures. So your music stands in itself.
It is not good as film music because music is a slave to the film. When you hear some theme of let's say Godfather, like you will recall the scenes of Godfather or the face of Al Pacino immediately. But as a composer, as a musician, as a person, of course, I'm proud of that. My music stands out, and the film itself is kind of left. But on the other hand, I feel sorry about those directors, because I know how hard the filmmaking was. So I don't know. I'm in between because I can understand both sides.
Are you proud of certain compositions you made for movies, and the movies wasn't really interesting? Was it the
That
case?
happens many times also. It's so pity that I spent the same amount of passion, same amount of labor, same amount of ideas, time, energy on anything. But if a movie is not good or a movie is not successful, it's not good. I mean, that has happened, many times. But then, I can save the music, with me. You can say goodbye to the film. Film may be forgotten, but I can save the music. Well,
you didn't enjoy playing, I guess, when you playing Furio, Merry Christmas, Mr. Irons, and The Last Emperor. It was the only two movie experience for you as an actor. It wasn't something that you particularly like.
I have never had the intention to seek my acting career. I never thought, I never wanted. The only reason I acted in those films was those directors asked me to do it. They forced me to do it. And if some film director you admire, like Bertolucci, would ask you to act in his film, you can't say no. Irresistible.
Even if you say you're not an actor?
Because but Bertolucci said, act here. You can't say no because I'm a big fan of Bertolucci's and Oshima's, other film directors. So that's the only reason. And I have never had a acting training in my life.
And I read that you refused to play Mishima on screen too. Some Paul Schrader offered you to play proposed to play the Yukio Mishima character in this movie, and you refused it because you were tired of playing bad Japanese on screen.
Maybe I'm not sure, but my memory is a little obscure, but maybe, yeah. I knew that film, and someone acted. Probably, yeah, Porsche contacted me. Yeah, maybe I was asked, and I said no. Because, well, as a novelist, I respect Mishima. I kind of love some of his writings, some of his books. He was great, but he was a ultra nationalist, right wing, and I didn't like that. And I'm tired of that kind of typical image of Japanese people. Because once is enough. Enough is enough. Because I did once in Merry Christmas, so Furio, so that's enough.
And as you said, you're not inspired by traditional Japanese music, but far more by Okinawa's traditional music, and African and Brazilian and European. So Japan is not so deeply rooted into what you do.
No. Maybe you can imagine that after the war in Tokyo, everything was very Americanized and westernized, and so when I grew up in Tokyo, I barely heard any traditional Japanese music from radio, from TV. Maybe only New Year. So maybe one day in a year. That's it. If I was born in a family who is like conserves the particular tradition of Japanese music, maybe I would, but I had only small knowledge about Japanese traditional music. So I even studied Japanese traditional music in university as one of ethnic music, next to other Asian music or Indian, African, South American, whatever. So it's sad, our own music, but it's not popular. You cannot hear when you walk in the street of Tokyo. You can hear that.
And how about kabuki or this really amazing music, just really strict to the percussions and some voice. It's really rich, so it belongs to your culture. And you know that maybe the Japanese don't care about it.
Well, they're not so popular, especially within younger generations. They don't care. As I get older, yes, I have more interest in the old music of Japan and old culture of Japan, other culture of Japan. Like as I get older, before I was young, when I was young, I didn't care about like Kyoto or temples or shrines. But now I can see the beauty of those, and also music of No or Kabuki, they're all interesting now.
You managed to tour in what you call a green tour, with using green electricity. You created your own organizations called More Trees. Can you tell us a bit about it? What is green electricity? How can you play technically in different world capital?
Yeah. Yes. What we do is just to count the amount of electricity used for particular tour or some project, and we can buy that amount from other like a wind power plant or solar panel plant, instead of just paying to the one major gigantic electric company. We can buy electricity from the plant, many plants, or and slash or of course every time we do something like a tour or concert, of course we emit CO2, so you get some amount of CO2 and you can offset that amount, so plus minus zero. So I've been doing since 2005 for 4 years, and this time this tour will be offset, like luckily we can get quite a amount of money, supporting money from the German car company to offset all the emission from this tour.
And what is more trees?
More trees is very different from my musical activities. It's a long story, but somehow I got this word, more trees, from my mouth. It's just out, more trees, and this word has some kind of strength, power for people. And it's very simple, and anyone can understand more trees, because the world is losing forests. Every second, every minute, every day, we're losing trees and forests.
It sounds like I want to breathe more air, please.
Yeah, actually, yes. So we need more trees, and anyone can understand. Left wing, right wing, any businessman, anyone, musicians, artists, everybody agrees, more trees. So we formed this organization 3 years ago in Japan, and to maintain forests, and also plant new forests everywhere. As long as we have money, we put forests to maintain.
Does your music help you to become more humanist?
Well, I think music is a very humanistic art form, I think. But sometimes music could be very evil. Actually, I'm a bit traumatized by the way the Nazi used music for their propaganda. And of course, I wasn't born yet. But I was born after the war, but somehow I'm very traumatized because music sometimes can have a lot of power to organize people, and we shouldn't, as a professional, we shouldn't use that power. I don't want to use it.
Do you know that last year we found a box of records which belonged to Hitler, and it contained several records of Jewish violinists, famous Jewish musicians, Mendelssohn piece of work. So music that was forbidden, and artists that were really hated at that time.
Yeah.
And we found this box, records from Hitler, with Jewish
from
music.
his collection.
His
So he
private
listened
collection.
to, the music was banned, but
The music was banned,
he
they listened to
those,
and he
that kind of
appreciated
music.
it too.
Well, the same thing happens in North Korea. anything Western is banned in North Korea. But I heard, I don't know if this is a fact or not, but I heard Kim Jong-il is a big fan of Hollywood movies. And he has a big theater underground, one of his palaces or something. He loves sushi, Japanese sushi, and he loves American movies. That's what I heard. Maybe dictators are like that.
Don't do what I do.
Okay. Exactly. He's jealous or something.
You receive la décoration Chevalier des Arts et des Lettres in France.
The officier, yes, yeah, l'ordre. Yeah.
L'ordre.
Yeah.
So you're a Knight of Fine Arts.
I'm above knight. You know, it's an officer.
Yeah. So, what about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I was invited to the French embassy in Tokyo.
You received it from the French
ambassador. Yeah. He put the medal by himself, and
You were surprised.
according to my memory, I didn't do so many good things to France. So why you gave me this? And I don't know.
They gave it to Kylie Minogue 2 years ago. They gave this decoration to Kylie Minogue, this medal.
Oh, yeah. I see. Well, I don't know. But some other person at the embassy explained why, like the official explanation of this gift. He mentioned, well, he researched about me so much, and he knew I was influenced by Claude Debussy and other French music, and so probably that's why. And Debussy was influenced by Asian music like gamelan. So it's not the money globalization like American globalization, but he said it's a cultural globalization.
And KG was inspired by gamelan.
Of course. Yeah.
It is said that it's the beginning of ambient music.
Yes.
I read it into the David Toop book.
Yeah.
Talk about the
Yes.
big influence of ambient music.
Yes.
He said it comes from the East.
Yes, exactly.
Do you agree with that?
Well, my thought, I have this thought all the time. There's not a single 100% pure closed culture. The cultures are all flowing and influencing each other. Like how do you describe how do you divide like a European culture and Eastern culture? Where's the line? India is on the edge, or I don't know. I cannot tell. It's always through the history. It's always influencing each other. Arabic math influenced Europeans, of course, and Chinese inventions, of course, influenced Europeans, and pasta came from China.
So you often talk about your internal map.
Yeah.
There's no frontier. There's a lot of musical elements.
Actually, realistically, the world is not that simple. You can divide just east and west, or north and south. It's not that simple. Especially talking about the cultures, they're all always mixed and influencing each other. There's no pure single culture.
My last question is about the word that you like. You mentioned it into your booklet. The words that you often like noise or nirvana. Is there other words you didn't mention that you particularly like? Maybe the final words for this interview?
Yeah, I like many things. Like I like the sound of the wind. I like the shape of the dolphin. Well, every living thing has an amazing design, and I was just amazed by the huge scale of nature when I went to the Arctic Sea, the Greenland. What you can see is only water and ice. Nothing other than that. And I was just blown away by the fact and the scale of nature. Amazing. So we are very, very small and weak.
Domo arigato, Sakamoto-san.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.